Hey, good morning, friends. I wanted to finish up my video that my phone had overheated last week, so I got all of the flowers videoed, but I didn't get to actually do my garden video. So I wanted to show you before it really took off more so that you could see the progress. So enjoy, I hope, and if you have any advice, I'm really open to it. Okay, I'm going to start at the beginning, which are here in my little cabbage pail patch. If you'll notice, I'm down to one cabbage. I had two, but one broke off when I moved the bucket, and apparently, oh my gosh, apparently these buckets do not last too long when they are left outside, because I just had this one from last year, I believe. And so obviously this will be the last year I can use it. These are my potatoes that I first planted, and you can see they have really done well. I'm super excited for them to start blooming. And can I tell you, like these little tomatoes, I took the advice of some YouTubers, and these I had snipped off from the bottom, and I just stuck them in dirt, and they have roots. So I'm hoping to plant those this weekend. I will say that I had a couple more in here and they did not take root, so I've put them in water. But from what I can tell, I had one that had, actually I'm going to bring you up here. I had this one here, this smallest one right here, broke off at the base where the dirt is. And I took it and I put it in water, and it grew roots. So I planted that the day before yesterday. It already has a bloom, and it had a bloom when I put it in, or when I got it out of the water. So, this, as you can see, has turned into a little bit of a jungle. But I am so happy with it. When we come up on it, this is some kind of, I think, some kind of lemon something. It came in a pot and I repotted it. It doesn't look like it's doing the greatest, so I'm not sure if it will survive or not. But look at my tall Betty marigolds, and I call them that because my friend Betty gave me some last year, and I harvested the seeds and I reseeded them this year, and look at them. They have really taken off and already starting to get blooms and buds. And my nasturtiums are just overwhelmed with blooms and buds. And I will tell you, I have read about those, and I think I said this in my last video, that the worst soil is what they love. And they actually, you can see the type of soil that I have here. I mean, it is hard clay soil. You can see right here. And man, I just dug a little hole, planted them, and they took off. Whereas the ones in my actual garden with garden soil have done the exact opposite. Now I see a little critter here, lightning bug. I'm not sure if those are good for your garden or not. I'll have to look. But I have to say, I would just have to shear the garden because I just could not bear to get rid of lightning bugs. Look at my corn. So I know, we have probably a foot off the ground, but I'm 5'8", and the tallest leaves are almost as tall as me. So I'm super excited about that. Look at my stalks. Now, whether or not you can see here, they've got like the little, I don't know what that's called. I don't know the anatomy of corn, but that has to be an encouraging sign. And my beans have just really taken over. And I have lots and lots of little blooms on my beans. And I actually Jimmy rigged this little trellis from one to the other because this is the first time I've ever grown beans, and I had no idea like they were so invasive. So, hey, Katie, which I'm not complaining because I think I'm praying that I just have a great harvest. But you can see how they have, like I had lots of plants over here that have just really taken off. So I'm hoping that they will meet. But look at all these little blooms. Can you see those? Right here. My goodness. So excited. Down here. If nothing else, they're beautiful. Oh my gosh. I have a bean. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited. I'm so excited I got to share that with you guys. What a great surprise. Here's a tomato plant. I'm going to have to get staked up. I think this is one that James, my son, gave me. So it's probably a cherry tomato. But who can have too many cherries? You can always share them with people, right? Sorry for the sniffles. Here's my celery. It's coming up beautifully. Now this marigold is one that came in a pot and I just planted it in the garden. I don't know. Did anyone figure out what these were? I thought first they were carrots. Obviously they're not. I did cut this one down because it was kind of suffocating my beets and tomatoes. But I think that I saw or read that it was Queen Anne's lace. Can anyone confirm that? If so, please leave a comment below. Here are my carrots. My goodness, they're getting big. And look at the beets. I'm going to have to read up on when to harvest them. Like, what's the signs of harvesting them? My onions are doing great as well. And my friend Dave told me that the longer I let them stay in the ground, the bigger they got. And you can see right here from where I watered them this morning, like they've got a pretty big stalk there. Hopefully I didn't beat my lettuce to death. It looks pretty fragile. But here's my lettuce. Last year I had tons of lettuce. This year it got eaten, and it's just taking a while to get it back. My dill is coming up pretty. And then here's some more nasturtium, and I've got some zinnias down here. Here's more of my tall Betty marigolds growing, and you can see like the congestion I have down here just with beans and tomatoes, flowers, and look, I have a little cucumber. So excited. And here's some more. I'm trying to focus it in on it for you. I guess with the fence it won't really do it. But they are just climbing beautifully. And my little nasturtium, who gets very little sun, is actually blooming over here. I have more beans and tomatoes, of course, on this side. And like here's this side of the beans. They are crazy. Over here I did put some mint because I had it up on the deck banister, and one of the cats knocked over another, like my cilantro, and I was afraid they would knock these over. So I went ahead and set them out. Mint is supposed to help with like irritating bugs like gnats and mosquitoes and things, so I thought it might help at least whenever I'm out here. And my friend Becky, my neighbor Becky, actually showed me where I have a little cucumber. I'm trying to find it over there. There it is, right there. I don't know if you can see it. Right here. So this is my bush cucumber. I've never grown bush cucumbers. Of course, this is only my second year of having a garden, so it's not like I'm a pro or anything. Here is my chamomile. That is kind of hard to see with the shadows, but it is coming up. I mean, it was probably 1/4 of an inch when I put it in the ground, so I'm excited to see. And it is a little beaten down from where I watered it today, but it will pop back up with the heat. More beans. And here's a tomato. This, remember last time I told you my Carolina Golds, I wasn't sure if they were going to survive. This is a Carolina Gold. And it is surviving. I think it's going to make it. Now these are the Mr. Stripies that I bought. Nope, this is a Better Boy. This is the Better Boy, and there were two in a pot, and I just let them, because I didn't want to separate their roots, so I went ahead and just planted them. I do believe this is another James Joseph cherry tomato. And then look at my okra. If you recall last time, it was little bitty. And here it is. Now, I will say that I planted 2 seeds and I never separated them. Do you feel like that would be a problem? If you know, let me know in the comments below. Another tomato. Here's a little pepper plant. And I have more marigolds and zinnias there. My tomatoes. And here's another pot of mint that I decided to set out here just to get it off the railing. Now, here's my surprise. Of course, here's some more nasturtiums, but you know, last time I had planted the lavender, and the lavender is coming out really pretty. And then here's my little seedling right here. And then here was another seedling that was taller. Well, obviously you can tell it is not lavender. I have no idea what it is, but it is not lavender. So, I'm thinking it might be cantaloupe, maybe. Another potato, and look what I used. I think I had this when I did my last video, but it's an old dog food bag. It is the plasticky, it's not the paper, so you can see that it's weaved, but it has worked great to be a planting container. So I encourage you, if you are limited on funds or you just like to save and do some DIYs, that was a fun thing for me to do, just to be able to use things around the house. So since I did my last video, I started growing my zucchini vertically, and I have been pruning them, as you can see down here. I'm not sure if I'm doing them right. If you have any suggestions, let me know in the comments below. They are blooming beautifully, and they are growing beautifully. I'm not sure how this is going to work. I did one upside down tomato cage, and I did one regular tomato cage, and I feel like the regular one is going to be easier to handle. This one actually had a zucchini, but from what I read, it was not pollinated because it just fell off very quickly before it was even an inch long. Another tomato. And look at my bachelor buttons. I actually have a bloom. I didn't realize that here's another blossom or a bud. I didn't realize that they kind of lay down. So apparently they're kind of like a ground covering maybe. I don't know. But they're still beautiful. So, and I do believe that they will attract some pollinators. Also, before moving on to the peppers, look what I did. I trellised my cantaloupe. I put both on the same trellis. And this is an old futon bar. We had a futon that apparently was in worse shape than I realized, and so we were going to take it off to the dump, and when I put it off to the trailer, it fell apart. I was trying to give it away. People probably realized what I had. I didn't. And when I drug it over to the trailer, it started falling apart. So I'm glad nobody took it. But I'm also glad because I will also use the other bar. I will keep the other bar for another trellis. So I just used some 6-foot poles, garden poles, and zip tied them together, as you can see. And I think it'll make a great trellis. It looks like it's working. And I have blossoms. Look at those blooms. Aren't they pretty? I am a little concerned about my little watermelon. He's not doing the greatest. I think he actually is almost on his last leg. I'm not really sure what to do with him. He's not growing very quickly. And I planted him and he was about the same size as my cantaloupe. So if you have any suggestions, please let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, here's the last leg of my garden, and these are my peppers. And this year I realized I probably should have planted them on the other side, where this side here, where my tomatoes could kind of give them a little shade. But honestly, I don't get a whole lot of sun on this side, so I don't know if that'll be a problem. They are growing. This one here I was a little worried about, but it has started sprouting. It seems like the rain does a lot better with them than regular water. And now some of them are showing little signs of bugs, you can see. So I'm going to have to do something. If you have any suggestions about that, let me know. But otherwise, listen, all I can do is encourage you to try it. You don't have to have big space, obviously. I'm very excited about the space I have. And you don't have to put a lot of money in it. All of my boards were all recycled. There's my little stash over there. And you do not have to put a lot of money in a garden. So all I can suggest is to try it. Start out small. Get you some old buckets that you had around the house. Obviously you have to be careful because they get very dry and crack and bust easy. But start out with some buckets. If you have pets, keep their plastic bags from their food. And you can do container gardening. I will just tell you that it's a great feeling to know that I have planted my own food. It won't be tons, but it is something exciting to know that I have contributed like that. So I hope you enjoy it. Sorry it's so long, but I hope you enjoy it, and I hope I am an encouragement to you to grow your own food. Well, until the next walk through the garden, have an awesome day. I pray that you are blessed.